In this video, I'm about to share my recommendations for the best software to grow your coaching business. I'm a multi-six-figure business coach, and I've helped thousands of coaches, so you can feel confident that these recommendations will be the right choice for you. I've included affiliate links down below as well, which I'd appreciate you using if you find this video helpful. And before we dive in, software, super important to help you sign more coaching clients. You also gotta have the right strategy in place to help you do that. So if you're looking for a roadmap you can follow to get on track to signing 2, 3, 4, or more high-paying coaching clients month after month, I put together a free client attraction guide you're definitely gonna wanna check out. Walks through my best advice to help you do that. And all you gotta do to get it is click the link above or in the description down below. Okay, so I wanna start by talking about how to accept payments into your coaching business. Couple of software tools and platforms I recommend, and I've tried a lot of them. Here are the best ones for me. The first is just for most coaches out there who are not running like a bunch of sales pages or doing like low ticket programs or things like that, using Stripe plus PayFunnels is my recommendation. Stripe is an incredible platform. Most of the biggest companies on the planet use Stripe to process payments, and you can use it too. And then on top of that, PayFunnels is a piece of software. It's really reasonable. It might be like 20 bucks a month, and it sits on top of Stripe and gives you a really nice interface where you can create invoices and bill people. So you don't have to go into like the Stripe backend and hunt through a bunch of menus to figure out how to create invoices and stuff like that. It's just a much easier tool to integrate with Stripe, and that's why I recommend both of these tools together. Now, if you are someone who is selling lots of low ticket programs, particularly if you're a little bit further on in your business, you want to do things like order bumps and upsells and have more of like an evergreen type thing where you've got lots of automation going on the back end. You need a little bit more advanced support on the payment side. I recommend using Samcart. This is a tool that I've used for years in various different businesses of mine. It works really well. And integrating Samcart with Stripe and PayPal, it will allow you to do things like upsells, order bumps, so you can increase the order value. This is pretty useful when you're selling like low ticket online courses or things where someone goes to like a sales page and just orders something without talking to you. For most coaches out there who are selling high ticket coaching, Stripe plus PayFunnels is going to be more than enough. But if you're doing more of that advanced stuff, you might find Samcart helpful. Okay, so let's move on to email marketing. What are my favorite tools for sending out mass emails to an email list in your coaching business? So I've tried almost all of the major email marketing platforms out there. They all do pretty well, and they'll all provide a lot of the basic functionality that you need in order to send emails out in mass. But here are the two tools that I recommend the most. The first is for most coaches who aren't doing advanced things like ads or lots of like automations and things like that. ConvertKit is a great tool. It's a platform that's easy to use. It has a good landing page builder integrated so that you can create landing pages for like lead magnets and guides and opt-ins and things like that. And for most coaches out there, it's an awesome tool that I would definitely recommend. For coaches who are more experienced, who are running higher level businesses, this is helpful when you're taking more calls, by the way. You can actually have like a back end where you can track like where people are in your sales process. I recommend ActiveCampaign. This is the software that we use today for email marketing, and it's the software that I recommend for all the coaches that I work with that are scaling like past 10K a month, and we're doing things like ads and building out fancier automations and really doubling down on email marketing. So ConvertKit if you're a beginner, ActiveCampaign if you're more advanced. And finally, there's a tool I use called PlusThis that sits basically as a bridge between ActiveCampaign and Facebook ads. And so if you're running lots of ads, or you want to do things like evergreen launches where you've got like a automated email sequence that goes out on the back end that opens and closes, a tool like PlusThis is going to be pretty important. It will allow you to set those things up. So if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely check that out. It's a great tool, and I've used that for years as well. Okay, so what about hosting online courses and video content for your clients? Again, I've used a lot of the major tools out there, and the tool that I recommend as a learning platform most today is Thinkific. This is what all of our online courses and programs are hosted on. It's a great platform, will allow you to upload videos and create like a really cool members only portal that people can log into to access content. I don't use any of their community features. I prefer to host off the Thinkific platform for communities, and we'll talk a little bit more in a second about the software that I recommend for communities. But Thinkific is a great choice when it comes to online portals where you can just host video-based content. In addition to that, that, I recommend Vimeo for hosting online videos. So if you need a place to upload videos that you can embed on your sales page or something like that, Vimeo is a great tool. There are some others out there, Wistia, you can even use YouTube, but I find Vimeo just the easiest to use, and at the price point, it's the most reasonable for what you actually get in return. Okay, let's move on to media. So as a coach, you're probably gonna have to create lots of different media, whether that's graphics or videos. What are some tools we use today in our business in order to do that? Probably the simplest tool, the easiest one out there for graphic design is Canva. This is an online platform you can go to create social media graphics or banners for like a Facebook group or your Facebook page, something like that. For everyday graphic design needs, it works really well. There's lots of templates that you can use to help you get started. And a lot of the features are free. You actually don't even need to pay for it. They do have like a premium version, which is pretty good if you want some of the more advanced features. But it's a great platform and a great tool for just creating everyday social media graphics and things like that. On the video side, if you need to do video editing, I recommend DaVinci Resolve. This is a free platform. It's awesome. And it's basically as good as Adobe Premiere or some of the more advanced video editors that you might pay a lot more for. It is a more advanced platform. It's going to take some time to kind of wrap your head around if you've never done video editing before. But this is what I use to just do kind of like basic video editing. And then for our more advanced video editing, like for these YouTube videos, we actually have a video editor who we work with who helps us do that. And we found him on Upwork. Upwork is a great platform for finding freelancers. It's my favorite platform, and I've tried hiring from so many different platforms. You're looking for a great just place to go to find virtual assistants or video editors or graphic designers or people who can help you on a higher level when it comes to media. This is an awesome spot, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Okay, so let's move on to coaching. When you're actually delivering your coaching, what are some tools that you might use, software that we recommend? The first thing is for anything that requires like an application, like when new clients apply to work with you, or even like an intake form for new clients, I recommend Typeform. It's a survey tool that you can use to put together surveys that you send to potential clients or new clients. I use it all the time in our business. It's the most elegant, best looking survey platform out there. There's others like SurveyMonkey, but I just think the design doesn't look as good, and it's worth investing in something like Typeform to help you build just better looking forms that you can send out to people who you might be working with in your business. When it comes to coaching itself, I don't use like an all-in-one platform for hosting video calls or things like that. I just recommend Zoom, and you can do cloud recording via Zoom. So you can set it up basically so that it records all of your calls, which is great because you can actually download those afterwards and send them off to clients if they want the recordings. Zoom's great. I don't need to say any more about Zoom. You've probably been using it for years, especially since the pandemic. I think we're all up on Zoom at this point. So definitely recommend Zoom. Also, Calendly is a great tool for scheduling calls. If you've ever just been exhausted, like emailing back and forth with someone, trying to figure out like a date that works for both of you to get on your calendar for like a coaching call or like a sales call or something like that, Calendly is awesome. It basically is a tool that you can just send somebody your link, and they have an updated version of your calendar, and they can choose a time that works best for them. Will save you a ton of time with scheduling. This is like a lifesaver. It's an awesome tool. Definitely recommend using this in your coaching business. And then finally, for communicating with clients between coaching calls, I recommend Telegram. It's a free messaging app. I've used Voxer, and a lot of coaches I know like Voxer for communicating with clients, but I find Voxer super clunky. Like the interface feels like it was built in like 1992. It just is like, it makes me frustrated like trying to use it. Telegram is really elegant. It's just like a clean, easy to use interface, and it does all the same stuff as Voxer. We use Telegram pretty regularly for all of our VIP clients in my business today, who I'm working with on a deeper one-to-one level. And it's definitely something that I would recommend for communicating with clients between calls. Okay, so let's move on to community. If you do have a community, like let's say you're running a group program or even like a free group where you've got prospects or leads kind of hanging out before they might start working with you, where do you host this? What's the best platform? Well, I recommend Facebook groups. And you might be thinking, well, Jason, like I don't like Facebook. I don't want to be on Facebook. But here's the thing. Everybody's on Facebook today. And the less resistance you can create for somebody to actually join your group, the more people are really going to do it. So if you try to host a group elsewhere, and I've seen other coaches do this, I've been in other coaching programs where, groups are hosted externally. It's just a lot harder to get people to engage and to to be a part of that community. It's not that you can't do it, and particularly with paying clients, like you have more leverage because someone's invested a lot of money to work with you. They're willing to go through some discomfort to be a part of that community. But especially for free groups, I'd recommend Facebook groups. You're just building off the back of Facebook. And if you are running a free group, I recommend a tool called Group Leads, which will allow you to take all of the data that people submit when they sign up for the group and fill out those membership questions and automatically import it into your email marketing software. This is super helpful, particularly if you're collecting emails from people who are joining your group, which I think you should. I think it's really important. This is a tool that just makes administration and managing your group so much easier. Okay, so that moves us on to phone and texting. If you are doing a lot of phone calls in your business or a lot of text messages, which we do a lot in our business, and I've used lots of online platforms that will basically give you like a phone number and you can text from them. Honestly, there aren't like a lot of really great platforms out there, but the best that I found is a tool called OpenPhone. And full transparency, at least as I'm recording this video, it's still like a little buggy. There are some things that like weird things that will happen with it sometimes. It has gotten much more stable over the past few years, but it still has a little bit of a ways to go. But the interface is really clean, it's easy to use, and I do all of my phone calls and texting from that application, and it works really well 99% of the time. So OpenPhone would be my recommendation for this. Now, as a coach, you're probably gonna be building out lots of landing pages in your business too, where you're collecting email addresses for webinar signups or lead magnets or things like that. Lots of good landing page builders out there. The one that we use in our business today is Lead Pages. And this is, honestly, if I'm being like fully transparent, it's okay. Like, it's the cheapest out there. The builder it works. The reason why we haven't switched is number one, the other tools out there are like 3-4 times the price. It's not like a big pain point for us. Like Lead Pages is working, it's fine. Also because we have a lot of landing pages in Lead Pages and transferring them over and getting them set up with a new service is kind of a pain. So I still recommend Lead Pages today to our clients because it's pretty cheap. It's by far the cheapest landing page builder out there. And for most coaches out there, it's gonna provide all the functionality that you need to build landing pages. But Lead Pages would be my best recommendation unless you go to something like Unbounce, which again is going to be much more expensive. But for most coaches, Lead Pages is more than enough to build basic landing pages that are going to give you everything that you need. Okay, that moves us on to website and domain. So if you do have a website, how do you set it up? What's the software that I recommend? I've been using WordPress for many years now for pretty much all of my websites. And WordPress, like 25-30% of the internet is powered by WordPress. It's basically like a platform that you can use to publish a blog and to set up a website. And there's lots of customization. You can even hire a designer to help you build templates and things like that. So for most websites, I recommend WordPress, and the hosting company that I use today is called InMotion Hosting, and they do a great job. Their support has been awesome from day one. They're always available on chat, and I've had issues and things that have come up, and they've been great at resolving things really quickly. So you can go to InMotion Hosting and actually buy a domain name there, as well as get set up with like a WordPress shared hosting plan or something like that. That would be a great place to start when it comes to a website. Now, as you're growing and scaling your coaching business, you're probably going to want a team at some point. You can't do this all yourself. And so there are a couple of tools and pieces of software I use today in managing our team that have been really helpful. The first is just in terms of finding really great candidates and people to work with you. Upwork has been awesome. Great to find freelancers, virtual assistants, graphic designers, video editors, anybody that you might need in your coaching business. So this is an awesome tool, and we use it all the time to find great candidates for our business. In terms of paying contractors, and also if you are doing payroll, you have like full-time employees, things like that, Gusto is really great, will allow you to manage your payroll. This is what we use in our business, particularly because I have an LLC set up and I pay myself as an employee as well. So Gusto will take care of all of that. Really great tool, really easy to use. And for payroll management, that's my favorite out there. When it comes to communication with your team, Telegram is great. I like to prefer not using phone calls if I don't have to. I still meet with my team on a regular basis over Zoom, but Telegram for more day-to-day communication and things like that works really well. For password management, and this becomes really important when you have multiple team members and you got to share passwords and logins across your team, I use a tool called 1Password, and we have a business account set up, which basically allows me to share accounts with my team members. And so they have login information and things like that. That works really well. For project management, making sure that people are on track for completing deadlines and just managing kind of the back end of communicating and working with a team, we use ClickUp. is a great tool. There's lots of tools out there that work really well. Asana is another one that you might hear quite a bit. Notion is something that people are using more and more as well. Those are great tools too. We use ClickUp and it's super customizable. There's a lot of flexibility in terms of how you set it up, and that works pretty well for us. And finally, when it comes to accounting and finances, we do all of our bookkeeping in Xero. And the other major platform out there that you'll probably hear a lot about is QuickBooks. I've heard good things about QuickBooks as well. We've been using Xero for many years now and have had a really good experience with Xero. They're both great, but I would recommend Xero because I've had a good experience with it. And then in terms of credit cards, especially when you're doing ads and you're spending a lot, like if you're running ads, finding a credit card that will allow you to get cash back, it's free money, you might as well. We use a Capital One Spark Business credit card. It's actually a charge card. It's not like a official credit card, meaning you have to pay the balance off in full after the month. So you can't roll it over. That's the downside. We get 2% cash back on everything that we spend, which is a pretty good deal. If you're running ads, the Amex credit cards, you also want to look into. You might be able to get more back actually in terms of points if you look at the return on something like that. If you're spending a lot on things like Facebook ads or Google ads or things like that, that's definitely something to look into. Now, as I mentioned earlier, software, super important to success when it comes to managing your business. And probably way more important is that you've got the right strategy in place to actually get clients. Because if you don't have clients, you don't have the right strategy, none of this stuff really matters, right? So if you're looking for a roadmap that you can follow to get on track to signing 2, 3, 4, or more high-paying coaching clients month after month in your coaching business, I put together a free client attraction guide that walks through so much of my best advice to help you do this. I'd love to share it with you, and all you have to do to get it is click the link above or in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely gonna love that one too. So click the link on the screen to go check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.